didn't even have to raise my hand. I'm pretty impressed. I got very quiet in here. I want to thank you all for your patience. And as soon as the board members are at their seats, I will have Mr. Reinstein will continue with our meeting.
Could I have a motion return from executive session? Motion second. We are in public session. Can we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to one of our more enjoyable board meetings of the year for a couple of reasons. One is that we're looking at the recognition of many of our teachers, and two, this is probably 30 times the population that attends a regular Board of Ed meeting, so we're always happy to see a great turnout. Before we start the official meeting, I want to just make one comment. Some of you are probably aware of a very large community event that's been held in Berkeley Heights for many years, the Relay for Life, that raises a tremendous amount of money for cancer research. And it's run by an organization. They had the event at Governor Livingston for many years. They've moved it to the Watchung Reservation. And just probably 24 to 36 hours ago, based on the weather forecast for this weekend, they called the district and said, we're really desperate. Can we have the event inside this building at Governor Livingston on Saturday? And on top of all the things that our administration, mostly the GL administration, is doing, Judy, Rob Nixon, Lauren Said, Tara Oliveira, and Ann Clifton and the custodial staff scrambled, and over the last day or two were able to respond and tell them that yes, you can run this great event at our at the building here, and it will be conducted here this weekend. I believe it's from 4 p.m. until midnight on Saturday. I just mentioned that as on top of all the things that we do, we have an incredibly dedicated staff who can respond on a dime to unforeseen weather conditions and make sure that an event as important and as really as significant as this Relay for Life, which has really grown from, and it's not just Berkeley Heights, I think it's Summit and Mountainside and New Providence and Berkeley Heights participate in that. So Judy, my thanks to you and to the GL team. I know some of them are here tonight. On behalf of the board, we are very thankful for all that you do for us, and in this case, you're scrambling to make sure that the event can take place. With that, can I have a motion for the approval of our April 27th minutes? Motion is second. All in favor? Opposed? 2 people abstain who were not here. And those minutes are now part of the official record. I might add that Helen Kirsch, one of our board members, is at a different Union County event tonight. Sends her apologies and her congratulations to all of our educators of the year as well. Donna, do we have any correspondence?
There is no correspondence on tonight's agenda.
Great, thank you. And then we move to our student representatives. Jimmy?
Is this thing on?
Yep.
All right. Most GL sports teams, if they haven't already, all right, we'll switch over. All right, now we're good. Most GL sports teams, if they haven't already, are entering the championship part of their season. Softball has had a phenomenal season so far with an 18-2 record. The girls won their first 2 county games against Cranford and Summit, the former being a close win on their senior night. They play ALJ tomorrow for the county final, so the best of luck to them. Baseball has also led a fantastic season up to this point. They reached #1 in New Jersey last week and are ranked 22nd in the nation. With a 17-2 record, the boys are bouncing back from their loss in counties to go all out in the upcoming state tournament. The boys and girls track teams continue to excel as well. Andrew Aguilera, Douglas Ludzinski, and Justin Ludzinski are Union County champions in the intermediate hurdle relay, and Danielle Petrick, Victoria Van Riel, Katie Quinn, and Crystal Villasoa won the 4x800 relay, setting a school record, earning the county champion title, and running the 4th fastest time ever run in this event at the Union County Relay Champions. Union County conferences are this weekend at GL. The next weekend is Union County Individual Championships, and the following weekend is sectional finals. Congratulations and good luck to the Highlander track team. GL Tennis has also led a competitive season so far. With a 10-4 record, the boys are seated second in their conference after a 4th-place finish in counties. This evening, the boys beat Jonathan Dayton 4-1, so hopefully this victory will push them faster and harder into the championship season. Boys lacrosse has fought hard this season, holding on to a 6-6 record. With exciting wins against Parsippany and Fairlawn last week, the boys are looking forward to a great rest of the season. They play Clifton tomorrow, so good luck to them. Girls lacrosse has a 6-8 record, but plans to keep fighting on. Though they had a tough loss against Mount St. Dominic's this afternoon, the girls look forward to a competitive games against Milburn next Saturday and a rivalry match against New Providence on the 23rd. Golf is currently 6-5. Unfortunately, they had another match against Westfield that left them on the wrong end of a point yesterday, but they've also had some exciting victories, earning them a winning record. Finally, Senior Class Student Council is in full preparation for prom. The Junior Council successfully hosted a Cinco de Mayo themed semi-formal last Friday that was a great time for everyone that attended. The freshman class is holding a fundraiser at Buffalo Wild Wings from open to close on Wednesday, May 17th, so be sure to go out and support them. After elections 2 weeks ago, and though summer is steadily approaching, the new student councils are preparing for an exciting school year next year.
The Hilltop Players are hosting their annual Cabaret for a Cure on June 5th to raise money for Relay for Life. For this event, students and teachers will have the chance to share their talent with musical theater performances. Junior Brett O'Brien placed 4th out of the 110 tenors who auditioned for the 2017 NJ All-State Honors Choir and was accepted into the choir. The Art Club is taking a field trip to the Whitney Biennial on May 25th. The new inductees of National Honor Society have begun their involvement in the organization and are joining senior NHS members in the IMC before school and during lunch for tutoring. All senior members of NHS will also be participating in Relay for Life this weekend. GL's Deaf and Hard of Hearing Percussion Workshop class and the Concert Band's Percussion Ensemble traveled to the Union County Performing Arts Center and put on great performances. Congratulations to the cast of the female version of The Odd Couple for being nominated for an award for Outstanding Achievement as an acting ensemble in a comedy, and they will be traveling to Montclair University this Monday to accept this award. Interact Club members will have the chance to volunteer at the PTO Clothing Drive this Saturday and at the Mother's Day 5K this Sunday. The clothing drive will be held in the main parking lot of GL from 9 to 1. Lastly, student auxiliary members met last week to wrap silverware for a local soup kitchen and will also be meeting next week to make cards for veterans.
Great, thanks. Thanks, guys. Questions for our student reps? Okay, seeing none, we will continue. That brings us to the report of our superintendent.
Good evening. It's pretty tough to follow these two students on their comprehensive board reports, but I would like to share, Amanda, if it's okay. Amanda has made a decision on where she's going to college next year. So do you want to share or shall I? Okay. Amanda has decided she's going to Hamilton College next year. So we want to congratulate her on making that decision. We are particularly proud of you, Amanda. Thank you. So this is one of my favorite evenings of the year. Probably only second to the day that we call the Publishers Clearinghouse, where I actually get to go into each of the buildings with balloons and flowers and walk down hallways and try to have people guess at who's going to be the recipient of the Educators of the Year. There's always a little story that comes out of those interactions, so I'll share that at the end of our presentation this evening. But this whole program would not be without two of our administrators who are in charge of facilitating the Educator of the Year selection process. So it's my pleasure to introduce them. Mrs. Grace Acosta, who's the assistant principal at Columbia Middle School, and Mrs. Tara Oliveira, who is the assistant principal here at Governor Livingston.
Thank you, Mrs. Ratner. Good evening. It is with great pleasure that Mrs. Oliveira and I stand before you this evening. As educators, we all look to inspire and to make a difference in the lives of children. We strive to establish a productive classroom climate and rapport with students while keeping up with the most current trends and strategies that are most effective for their learning. Tonight, we honor and celebrate educators who have made lasting impressions on the lives of their students, parents, and colleagues. In January, letters were sent and posted inviting parents, students, staff members, community members to select the nominees. They reflect the best the nominees who exhibited the best qualities of Educator of the Year. In nominating this year's candidates, we sought teachers who demonstrated highly effective engagements with their students, dedicated service to their school and community, and demonstrated significant commitment to their own professional growth to be lifelong learners. Additionally, we, the administration, considered the evaluation piece and incorporated it into the process when choosing our recipients this year.
Based on those nominations, a committee comprised of prior Teachers of the Year, Educators of the Year, members of the PTO, and a board member met to complete the silent voting selection process. Ballots were counted, and our 2016-2017 Educators of the Year were selected. In late March, on our Publishers Clearinghouse Day, Mrs. Ratner, armed with flowers and balloons, took to the schools to surprise this year's recipients. As she entered classrooms, curious students wanted to know why was the superintendent visiting with gifts. They soon learned that their teachers would be the ones who were awarded this distinct honor of the 2017 Educator of the Year. Ms. Brewster, Ms. Pellegrini, Ms. Corcoran, Ms. Berga, Mr. Clayton, and Ms. Toporek, we thank you for your dedication to the students and families of Berkeley Heights, and tonight we celebrate you. Congratulations.
Dr. Jerry Crisanino is the board member who sits on that selection committee, and I've asked him to just share a few words with you this evening.
Good evening, everyone. As Mrs. Ratner said, today, to me at least, this is one of the most important acknowledgments we as a board undertake every year as we recognize our own. So I thank Board President Reinstein and my board colleagues for allowing me this opportunity to serve on the Teacher of the Year committee. Rita Peer, a nationally recognized speaker on teacher preparation, once said, "Every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understands the power of connection and insists that they become the best they can possibly be." This statement exemplifies the 6 outstanding professionals we are honoring here today. Recognized daily by their colleagues, students, and community members as the finest examples of what typifies an educational professional, it is our honor as a board to confirm what is already well known in their individual schools, that they are our own champions, our own heroes, who help to shape the minds of countless young people daily, students who will one day become the leaders of our great society. So on behalf of the board, let me extend our congratulations, deepest respect, and gratitude for your contributions to the Berkeley Heights Public Schools and the 2,800 students and their families we have the honor to represent.
Patricia Neal once shared, "A master can tell you what he expects of you. A teacher, though, awakens your own expectations." You are about to meet our master educators, those exceptional educators who work with our students to set high expectations, but who also work with them to help them realize their dreams. So it is my pleasure and my honor this evening To begin with the Mary K. McMillan Early Childhood Center Educator of the Year, Mrs. Maureen Brewster, Learning Disabilities Teacher Consultant. Maureen Brewster has been employed as a learning disabilities teacher consultant in the Berkeley Heights Public Schools since September of 1991. She came to our district after having served as an LDTC in the Roselle Public Schools for 9 years and as a speech language specialist in the Freehold Regional High School District for 3 years. Mrs. Brewster has worked mostly with students in our district's elementary schools, with the focus of her efforts being our youngest learners at the Mary K. McMillan Early Childhood Center during the past several years. The world of education never stops changing, and Maureen Brewster never stops learning, explained Annie Corley-Hand, principal of the Early Childhood Center. A change agent, a master teacher, an advocate, Maureen is a model for the collaboration and lifelong learning among the staff at our school. Passionate, personable, and proactive, Mrs. Brewster challenges prevailing assumptions about special education, assisting teachers and administrators in meeting the needs of our students in their classrooms, whatever those needs may be, by applying the newest research to our instruction. Maureen earned her Bachelor of Arts degree in Communication Science Disorders, as well as her Master of Arts degree in Communication Disorders, Learning Disabilities, from Montclair State University. She is an active member of numerous professional societies, including the American Speech and Hearing Association, the New Jersey Association of Learning Consultants, and the International Orton-Gillingham Society. Mrs. Brewster's extensive training and background as a speech therapist, reading specialist, and learning consultant allows her to support not only students with disabilities, but rather all students who may be struggling to meet the expectations of their grade level. That was shared by Michelle Gardner, Director of Special Services. She brings a rich knowledge base and gentle understanding to the staff and students whom she serves, and has become an integral member of the McMillan Data Team. Mrs. Brewster also serves as a professional support to her colleagues, often offering ideas and remedial techniques that are specifically tailored to the needs of the students in the classroom. It is my honor to recognize Mrs. Maureen Brewster as the McMillan Teacher of the Year.
Mrs. Ratner, Mr. McKinney, the board members, faculty, parents, and teachers. I was completely surprised and absolutely delighted and honored to be recognized as Educator of the Year for the Mary K. McMillan Early Childhood Center. On my way here tonight, I was realizing that I started my career way back in 1975, and at that time I was a speech therapist in a regional high school district, and I was in a different building every single day of the week, and every Tuesday for an entire year, whenever I went to lunch, the oldest teacher in the building asked me for my hall pass the entire school year. And now I walk the halls of the Early Childhood Center every day, and the students look at me as a grandmother, which is what I am. But as a learning consultant and a member of the child study team, I am involved in activities that have to do with meeting the educational needs of all students. I observe and evaluate children, talk to them, interview them and their parents, collaborate with my colleagues, and then make decisions regarding educational programming and management. And to do this job right, I need the cooperation and support of the teaching staff, including therapists, both occupational speech, reading specialists, principals, the director of special services, and the parents of the students I service. And that is what I am blessed with and have been blessed with in this district for the past 26 years. I also could not do this job without the understanding and support of my husband, who has been a teacher for 45 years and who just got here after his baseball game. I appreciate the professionalism and dedication of the talented staff and administration. I appreciate the commitment of the Board of Education to provide quality programs. I appreciate the involvement and the commitment that parents make to their children in this district. Berkeley Heights is an exceptional district in which to work. I have been a learning consultant at the Early Childhood Center since its inception in 1997, and my office was originally housed in the administration building, and 5 years ago it was relocated to the Mary Kay building. And I just want to acknowledge that I really have found a home at Mary Kay. It is such a warm and nurturing environment, and I just really respect everybody that works there, and I am so pleased how collaborative everybody is in the building. And even after 40 years of working in education, I still find coming to work to be very interesting, fulfilling, and challenging every day. And I thank you again for this honor, and I appreciate all that you have given me.
If you want to stay here for a minute. Sure. We get a standing ovation. That's pretty impressive. It's now my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Julie Nelson. Don't go anywhere, Maureen. Our PTO president at Macmillan School.
On behalf of everybody at Mary Kay Macmillan, we want to thank you for your dedication and support for all of our children at the school and congratulate you for winning this award.
Oh, thank you so much.
Mrs. Marie Pellegrini. Mrs. Pellegrini is a grade 4 teacher at Mountain Park School. Hey, Marie, how are you? You're good. Marie Pellegrini started her employment in the Berkeley Heights Public Schools as a help teacher at Mountain Park School during the 2008-09 school year. She continued in this role and then served as a long-term substitute grade 3 teacher during the fall of 2010 before being appointed to a full-time 4th grade teacher position at Mountain Park in December of 2011. Mrs. Pellegrini had begun her career in education as an elementary school teacher in the Jersey City Public Schools from 1993 through 1999. Over the past several years, 3rd and 4th grade students have been treated to the high-energy, high-productivity instruction that Marie Pellegrini provides, said John Marceau, principal of Mountain Park School. She brings a highly specialized approach to the classroom, which she had perfected early in her career. Mrs. Pellegrini and her co-teacher, Mrs. Michelle Guerrero, have worked together to set a very high standard for inclusive education. Their use of technology, differentiation, creative groupings, and data serves all students well. In addition, through her creative use of grants, Marie has been able to acquire a wide range of stimulating educational furniture and classroom accessories designed to help her students remain engaged and ready to learn. A graduate of Jersey City State College, now New Jersey City University, with a Bachelor of Arts degree in English writing and elementary education, Mrs. Pellegrini has made a significant impact on the Mountain Park School community in a relatively short period of time. She has served as student council advisor, safety patrol advisor, yearbook advisor, and co-advisor to MP Live, the school's drama club. Marie is also a member of the district's Technology Advisory Board, also known as TAB, and has presented many workshops on using technology in the classroom for new teachers, and has been a participant in the Berkeley Heights Education Foundation annual faculty basketball game. It is my pleasure to introduce and recognize Mrs. Marie Pellegrini as the Mountain Park Educator of the Year.
Superintendent Ratner, members of the Board of Education, administration, staff, parents, students, my Mountain Park family, friends, and my personal family. Thank you for such an incredible honor. and congratulations to my fellow recipients of the Educator of the Year awards. Two of my fellow honorees have personally touched my son's lives, Mrs. Maureen Brewster from Mary K. McMillan and Miss Stacy Toporek from GL. Thank you. My husband and I are originally from Bayonne. Bayonne was very good to us growing up and for my husband professionally. When we had children, we knew we desired a top-notch school district and were immediately drawn to Berkeley Heights. While academics and extracurricular activities make our district the great one that it is a true sense of community that amazes me all of the time. Along with sports and academics, our sons have participated in visits to the food pantry, St. Baldrick's, Relay for Life, Wounded Warriors, food drives, yearbook, PTO events, and so many more. It is this emphasis on community that is helping to shape our boys into well-rounded men. My husband and I talked a great deal that when the time was right and our boys were both in school full-time, I would return to teaching, but not in Jersey City, my former school district, but hopefully in our community. So I became a sub for a while and got to know many of the fabulous teachers and staff in all of our buildings. I was lucky to become a help teacher at Mountain Park School. During this time, I would listen intently to how each of my friends would teach their lessons and work with their students. So much of your classroom mannerisms, study skills, jokes, and knowledge are a part of my room. For each of you, I am forever grateful. John F. Kennedy once said, "We must find time to stop and thank the people who make a difference in our lives." Thank you to the Berkeley Heights Education Foundation for granting so many fabulous tools and supplies to our district. Thank you specifically for granting our classroom growth mindset books, biome-themed books, and alphabetter desks and stools. Thank you to the Mountain Park PTO for their support both financially and for gifting the school many items that are needed to be a successful teacher. Thank you to the parents who took the time to write letters of nomination. Thank you to all of my parents for your support, time, supplies, and emails, which help make 4P run smoothly. And to my students, who I learn from every single day. I am very grateful, and a bunch of them are up there waving. Thank you to all of my family and friends for their support both emotionally and financially. Whenever I ask for donations for my classroom, they are always willing to support my grants for items such as Chromebooks and core wobble stools. I am extremely grateful to my principal, Mr. John Morriso, for giving me an opportunity to teach in his school, for allowing us to put our families first, the freedom to try new technologies, and for tolerating my Bayonne attitude when it comes out on those very rare occasions. Thank you to my Mountain Park family and my 4th grade team for always being open to sharing advice, laughs, and work with me all while having smiles on your faces. You are a caring, supportive, thoughtful, fun-loving group of friends, and you make heading to Mountain Park in the morning such a warm and welcoming place to work. To my co-teacher, Michelle Guerrero, a teacher who really rocks, I don't know what I would have done during the last 3 years without your presence, your dancing, singing, and your smile. Thanks to you, I have really learned what it means to give each child what they need. Thank you also for reminding me that lessons should also be fun and that all of us need brain breaks. Thank you to all of the helpful and caring paraprofessionals who have spent time in my room this year and all who have been with me in the previous years. I want to thank my mom, Vivian, a very special education teacher who passed away in 1993. Not a day goes by that I don't somehow feel her guidance while I'm in my class. I want to thank my dad, Stan, and my sister, Laura, for their never wavering support of my classroom. Last but not least, to my wonderful husband and my best friend, Augie. He is willing to make Home Depot runs to build bookcases for my room, repair broken latches, proofread my work, and listen to my funny MP stories. This award belongs to Augie and my boys, just as much as it belongs to me. They give me the help I need to get to work at 7 a.m. They give me the space I need to spend time at my computer at night and during the weekends, planning lessons and grading work. They share their technology wisdom with me and help me out in my room during the summer months. In closing, thank you to all who have been such a positive influence in my life, my family's lives, and my career. Thank you.
It's now my honor to introduce PTO Vice President Katie D'Angelo.
I think you could hear in the speeches already that Mrs. Pellegrini is full of life and energy, and she shows that in everything she does at Mountain Park. Whether it's a class project, a PTO fundraiser, or a school event, you can count on her support and enthusiasm. While my daughter's been a student in her class this year, I've experienced firsthand the fun and engaging environment and the warm community she creates in her classroom. Mrs. Pellegrini, we're so proud of all you've done. Congratulations.
Mrs. Kate Corcoran, would you come join me, please? Did you pay these people for each channel? Okay, it's our secret. Mrs. Kate Corcoran is the Educator of the Year at Thomas P. Hughes School, and she teaches grade 4. Mrs. Corcoran has been teaching in the Berkeley Heights Public Schools since September of 2004, when she was hired as a 3rd grade teacher at Thomas P. Hughes School. She came to our district after having taught for 3 years in the Orange Public Schools. Mrs. Corcoran earned her Bachelor of Arts degree in English from Lafayette College and then received her Master of Arts degree in Supervision and Instruction from Montclair State University. Mrs. Corcoran is an ideal representation of all the things that are great about Hughes School, explained Jessica Nardi, the school's principal. She creates engaging and purposeful lessons for the students and is a reliable and respected colleague. In fact, she is affectionately known as the president of 4th grade among her teammates. Her diligence and attention to detail is second to none, and I greatly appreciate all that she does for our school. I am thrilled to have her represent Hughes School as Educator of the Year. During her time at Hughes School, Mrs. Corcoran has been commended for being organized and thorough, developing a routine that contributes to a feeling of community and camaraderie among her students. She is also known for setting a high standard for academic achievement in her classroom while providing thoughtful lessons to help students reach their maximum potential. In addition, Kate infuses technology effectively in her instructional efforts and has always shown a willingness to try new ways to better teach her students. Kate has been a valued contributor as a member of the district's Council on Instruction, the school and district level professional development committees, the Principals Advisory Committee, and the Language Arts Curriculum Committee during her years of teaching at Hughes. In addition, Mrs. Corcoran has served as an Expo Committee representative, Garden Committee member, and as faculty advisor to the Writing Club at Hughes School. Congratulations to Mrs. Kate Corcoran, Thomas P. Hughes, Educator of the Year.
Good evening, Mrs. Ratner, Mr. McKinney, administrators, members of the board, teachers, parents, students. While I am so incredibly honored to be standing here right now, I have to just take 1 second, because I promised to wish my daughter a happy birthday. Happy birthday. She's the one in the birthday hat. She's hard to find. She's 7 today. She's been a very good sport about sharing tonight with Mom. I want to thank everybody so much for this honor tonight. When I was in college, I had no idea that I wanted to be a teacher. In fact, I thought I wanted to be a journalist for a newspaper and then maybe one day become a teacher. So I decided to intern for a newspaper in the Lehigh Valley, and I wrote a whole lot of birth announcements and a whole lot of obituaries, and I decided that it was not for me. And then I determined that it would probably be a better idea to work for a big financial company in the human resources department. Those of you who know me know math is, 4th grade is about where it tops off. And then I would still, one day become a teacher. So I interviewed with Goldman Sachs. And they very quickly recognized that that was not for me. So finally, I realized that maybe I was trying to make myself something that I really wasn't, and that I should skip over all of these preliminary career plans and just delve directly into what I knew I should be doing, which was teaching. So I signed up for the alternate route program, and I started teaching with no experience, and I was told that within 6 months I would either be flourishing in the classroom or I would be looking for a new job. So 16 years later, over 300 students, 2 school districts, a couple more certifications, I know that I made the right decision. And although I've taught many students since I started my career in 2001, I've learned more than I ever could have imagined from each student and each class that I've had, and certainly from every coworker and administrator that I've worked with. For instance, I have learned that a mouse in a trap is a perfectly acceptable show and tell item to bring to school. And that a Jack LaLanne VHS workout video is a fabulous teacher's gift for the holidays. I have learned that if you are feeling tired or under the weather, have no fear. One of your students will happily point that out to you first thing in the morning. And I've learned that if you don't have a prep in the morning, you need to bring a very small bottle of water to school with you that day. Finally, and maybe most importantly, I've learned that being able to collaborate, share, vent, and laugh with your colleagues is essential to your success in the classroom. And I have this year, and for the past few years, I have Lindsay Liguori and Matt Medora, who I have to thank every day for plenty of laughs, and everybody else who keeps me smiling at Hughes School. It's really a great place to come to work each day. I would be remiss in not thanking my parents for their unconditional love and support, and my husband, Brendan, and kids, Kaylin and Kira, for being patient with me when I am occasionally lacking in that very area by the time I get home after a long day, and sometimes even a longer commute. But in all seriousness, teachers would be nothing without their students, and I have a whole bunch of them right out there. And I promised my class this year that I would mention them by name in my speech, so bear with me. So here we go. I want to thank, personally, Jillian, Nico. Yes, you don't have to say here, it's not class. Okay. Jillian, Nico, Teddy, Marin, Ava, Aiden, Owen, Anna, Nathan, Alex, Vinny, Christina, Maddie, Joy, Francisco, Katie, Lauren, Trevor, Danny, and Kaden. You have all made this year so special and one that I will always remember. And I'm going to leave you guys tonight. You guys know I like rhyming, right? So I'm going to leave you with a really short poem that I wrote just for you guys, okay? Okay, here we go. Thank you, kids in room 20, for being the best. Whether we're reading or writing or taking a test, we always find ways to smile and laugh, even when we are using protractors in math. Thank you for helping me stay well-versed in important things like Hey Bo Diddly Bop and what the pizza man brings, and Tsum Tsums and erasers and squishies too, and the difference between Weedle and Pikachu, and boating, ice hockey, baseball, and origami galore. If I had all the time in the world, I could list so much more. But in all sincerity, I'm so honored that you chose me to stand up here with all of these winners, even though I have your fidget spinners. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
It's now my pleasure to introduce Mr. John Foster, President of the Hughes PTO.
Thank you, Mr. Radner. Mrs. Corcoran, congratulations on a well-deserved award for much appreciated teacher, and I think you can hear that just from the kids out there. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mrs. Sarah Berger from William Woodruff School, grade 5 teacher. Sarah Berger first joined the faculty of the Berkeley Heights Public Schools during the 2007-8 school year, when she served in 2 different substitute replacement assignments at William Woodruff School. She then taught in the Long Hill Township Schools during the 08-09 school year, and then Sarah returned to William Woodruff School as a grade 5 teacher, her current position starting with the 2009-10 academic year. Mrs. Berger is an exceptional teacher who has shared her talents over the years with students in grades 2 through 5, said Patricia Gasparini, principal of Woodruff School. Her ever-present smile, calm and encouraging demeanor, coupled with her understanding of the students' needs, likes, and interests, make for a warm, nurturing, and productive classroom environment. On a weekly basis, she plans detailed, highly engaging lessons that cause her students to think, explore, discover, and synthesize concepts. Sarah earned her Bachelor of Arts degree in Early Childhood Education, General English from Kean University, and she received her Master of Education degree in Curriculum and Instruction from Concordia University. Outside of the classroom, Mrs. Berger has contributed to the Woodruff School community as a member of the school safety team, science and spelling curriculum committees, garden club committee, and farewell volunteer tea committee, in addition to serving as the faculty advisor to the drama club, Green Squad, and grades 2 and 5 buddies program. Mrs. Berger's talents are best seen during class and small group discussions, where she moves her students to think and reflect by posing higher level questions. Sarah's love of learning is recognized as she continues to take graduate classes to further develop her skills as a teacher. She instills this love of learning in her students by having them reading and identifying scientific developments and new ways to be green. She also utilizes technology to stimulate, support, and enhance reading and writing skills. Mrs. Berger is to be thanked for sharing her talents in the classroom and through the many activities she helps bring to our students. It's my honor to present Sarah Berger, William Woodruff Educator of the Year.
Good evening, Mrs. Ratner, Mr. McKinney, fellow educators, parents, students, family, and friends. I am so proud and honored to be here tonight to receive the award of Teacher of the Year at William Woodruff School for the 2016-2017 school year. Now, as many of you know, Woodruff School mascot is Woody the Owl, and our school motto is to always give a hoot. Our teachers, students, and even parents know this phrase quite well, and we all tried our best to live by this simple idiom each and every day. To try our best, be our best, and do our best. We all strive to get that infamous yellow and blue give a hoot sticker whenever possible. While to others this may seem quite simple and maybe even a little bit silly, it happens to be a very important piece in developing the character among all of us who are fortunate enough to be a part of the Woodruff School community. As I reflect back over the course of my 10 years of teaching at Woodruff School, it happens to be this phrase that each year has been the cornerstone for helping me decide how I want to teach my students, how I should plan my lessons, how I choose to interact and communicate with parents, and how I should forge collaborations with fellow educators. As I have emerged into one might call a seasoned teacher, I have come to realize that to give a hoot might even extend beyond the classroom and even cause me to be a little adventurous. A few of my most memorable moments were braving the cold to watch a group of students perform their dance number at the Berkeley Heights Winter Celebration, visiting a family's local Korean restaurant to taste their exotic cuisine, or even going to a Metallica cover band concert to see some students play in their band. Now, while I did not receive the coveted Give a Hoot sticker for attending these events, I do know that the memories I have from being a part of these events and the joy and excitement shown by the students who knew that their teacher was there to be a part of their lives in a new way was the best gift in the world, even better than the sticker. To me, this is what teaching is about. It's about being there for your students in school and out. It's about getting to know who your students really are and then appreciating them for who they want to be. I wouldn't have been able to share these special moments in time with you if it hadn't been for the support of my loving husband, Roberto, and my daughter, Larissa, my always encouraging principal, Miss Gasparini, and my two fellow musketeers, Mrs. Barton and Mr. Waller, who have joined me on many of these adventures. I am beyond grateful to work in such a wonderful school district that allows its teachers to be unique, be encouraging, and be the best educators we can be. I would like to congratulate my fellow educators who stand up here with me tonight to also receive this prestigious award. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
My pleasure to introduce Ms. Michelle O'Rourke, PTO President Woodruff.
Thank you, Mrs. Ratner. On behalf of the PTO, we wanted to congratulate Mrs. Berger. She's always a great supporter of the PTO, and I can say that I was lucky enough to have my oldest daughter have Mrs. Berger when she was actually teaching 4th grade a couple years ago. So I can speak firsthand. She's an amazing teacher, extremely patient with her students, brings out the best in every single student, and creates a very fun, exciting learning environment. In my daughter's words, has the most amazing science experiments. So thank you, Mrs. Berger. Congratulations.
Mr. Thomas Clayton, teacher of science at Columbia Middle School. Thomas, or Tommy Clayton, has been teaching 8th grade Earth Science at Columbia Middle School since September of 2012. He earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Geoscience from Montclair State University, but it's also worth noting that Mr. Clayton has compiled a considerable amount of professional experience as an insurance claims analyst, dairy warehouse manager, and drummer with various touring musical acts in the United States and Europe before he started his teaching career. Mr. Clayton is known by his peers as a collaborator, said Frank Geiger, principal of Columbia Middle School. He always looks for opportunities to collaborate with other subject area teachers to help the students see the connections between science and other disciplines, such as social studies. Tommy has sent sleuths to the outer limits of our galaxy, walked Icelandic glaciers with his students, led a robotic team to compete and represent Columbia Middle School, and used his talents as a musician to enhance our school programs. Mr. Clayton, who is currently pursuing a master's degree in educational technology at Ramapo College, has been a member of the district's Council on Instruction and has shared his knowledge and skills with his colleagues as a workshop presenter on topics such as flipping the classroom and iPads in the classroom. He also has served as faculty advisor to the CMS Robotics Club, Guitar Club, and Ski Club, in addition to organizing the first ever STEM competition to be hosted by Columbia Middle School tomorrow. In addition, Mr. Clayton has performed music for the CMS plays and chorus concerts, and yes, he has actually led CMS students on a tour of the unique geological features of Iceland. Science is about discovery, and in his 8th grade classroom, Mr. Clayton's students are taught the skills needed for investigation and the patience required for effective lab work. Mr. Geiger continued, as a result, his students enjoy the thrills of discovery. In a short period of time, Mr. Clayton has established himself as a leader in both the school and science department. My sincerest congratulations to Mr. Thomas Clayton, Columbia Middle School's Educator of the Year.
So just a quick apology if I start talking about tomorrow's STEM competition instead of the speech I prepared. Thank you, Mrs. Ratner. It was about 20 years ago, around this time, that I found myself in the office of my school counselor to talk about my upcoming junior year of high school. And the school counselor said, "Thomas, I see here that you didn't select physics. Can I ask why?" And I said, "I don't know, it sounds hard. It's like a lot of math, right? I don't think it's for me." And so she said, "Well, I think you should take Dr. Smock's class. I think you're really going to like it." And she said, "I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and put you in the class, and if by the end of September you don't like it, I'll switch you out." And I left her office thinking, "Lady, you'll be seeing me in September. You can count on that. There's no way I'm going to survive physics." And to this day, I have no idea why I even thought that. I actually didn't even know anything about physics. September 1997, I walked into Dr. Smock's classroom thinking, how am I going to get down to the school counselor's office after class and still get to the next class in time to tell her that it wasn't for me? Dr. Smock walked in and immediately threw a textbook out the second-story window and then said, "Okay, let's talk about that." And I remember sitting there thinking, did that just happen? Did he throw a textbook out the window? Can he do that? What is he going to do next? And from then on, I was completely hooked on science and physics. Needless to say, I never went to see the school counselor until the end of the year when I begged her to put me in Physics 2 with Dr. Smock. Dr. Smock's class was always a class that I looked forward to. And when I reflect upon the teacher that I have become, I've tried to design a classroom that is like that. My feeling was that if I could get kids excited to come to my class, the rest was easy. I could teach them science. My students have often told me they look forward to my class, and some have claimed that they have seen me do ridiculous things like drink sewer water, but there's no evidence to support those claims. Often when I plan my lessons or my projects or units, I put myself back in that seat. What would I have wanted? What would I have liked? What would have kept me wanting to come to class? And now as a parent, I put my son and daughter in that seat and think, what would I hope for them in their education? And although I owe much to Dr. Smock for who I've become as a teacher, I owe much to the great staff that I work with, the board, the teachers, the custodians, school counselors. Everybody has always supported my ideas and inspired me to do great things. First, I also need to thank my students, who you guys continually have inspired me to develop good lessons and keep it exciting and engaging and challenging. I need to also thank my parents for their continued love and support, especially for that time when I was 28 years old and I said, hey, I think I want to quit my job, move back in with you guys, go to college, be a teacher. Thanks for not changing the locks. I really appreciate that. I'd like to thank my son and daughter who couldn't be here tonight, but they continually remind me that I still have so much to learn, and when I do learn it, they'll just change the rules anyway, so why bother? Above all, I need to thank my wife for her understanding, for her patience, so patient, so patient with me, her love and her support. I know that she would love it if I took just a little bit less work home with me, but I also know that she knows that I know no other way than to completely devote myself to making sure my students have an amazing middle school experience. In closing, since I have a microphone, I would love to talk about a little bit of science. Weird, I know. But in thermodynamics, there is a law that states energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only transferred. And to me, this is much more than a law, it's a way of life, and it's the way my classroom operates. It would defy the laws of physics for me to expect my students to have positive attitudes if I myself was not optimistic, or for them to be engaged if I was not engaging, or for them to be curious if I was not inquisitive. And I could not expect them to be inspired if I was not inspirational. And I think it's important that we all remember that we are responsible for the energy that we bring into any situation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Am I allowed to talk about you now, Connie? Sure. At this point, I'd also like to introduce Mrs. Angela Penna, PTO President at Columbia Middle School.
On behalf of the Columbia Middle School PTO, I'd like to congratulate you for this award. As a parent that has been involved in the district for many years, I've had the opportunity to see all the wonderful innovative programs and technology that Mr. Clayton has implemented in the classroom and at Columbia Middle School. I know I speak for the Columbia Middle School students, parents, teachers, and administration when I say that this award is truly deserved. Congratulations, Mr. Clayton.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Stacy Toporek, GLHS. Stacy Toporek joined the faculty at Governor Livingston High School in September of 2003 after having taught at Benedictine Academy in Elizabeth for 2 years. She earned her Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice from Pace University, but soon set upon changing her career path by completing her certification coursework and student teaching through Kean University. Ms. Toporek is a highly involved, highly respected member of the GL family, explained Robert Nixon, principal of Governor Livingston. As a longstanding member of our English department, she teaches Project Connect classes and oversees many student activities. However, what sets Stacy apart is what she adds to the culture of our school community. She cares so much for the students and staff, and she is one of those special individuals that make Governor Livingston High School an amazing place to teach and learn. Stacy teaches classes in Project Connect English and yearbook at the high school. She's the faculty advisor to the Claymore, the GL yearbook, and has served as a class advisor, link crew advisor, and cheerleading coach during her years at GL. Ms. Toporek has also contributed to the school and district as a member of the Technology Advisory Board, Affirmative Action Committee, Attendance Review Committee, and Middle States Action Team. In addition, she has served as a cooperating teacher for a student teacher, an SAT Test Center coordinator, and has been a Google Classroom presenter. In a letter nominating Ms. Toporek for Educator of the Year, a colleague wrote, "When I think of the quintessential image of a teacher, I think of Ms. Toporek, someone who consistently adjusts and adapts her lessons to make them more effective and engaging, someone who regularly connects the events of the outside world to discussions in the classroom, someone who enjoys spending time talking with her students and getting to know them beyond the 56-minute class period. I count myself grateful to work in a school with someone like Stacy Toporek, who, on a daily basis, reminds me what's most important about teaching. It is my honor to present Ms. Stacy Toporek, GLHS Educator of the Year.
When I was little, my friend Kristen would come over and we would play school. Line up the chairs like desks, write out spelling assignments using words from TV shows we watched, subject our brothers to play the role of students, and pretend to be the teachers who we admired. We thought teaching was making a ditto. They were called dittos then. Give directions. We were really good at that. Grade the assignments and put stickers on the ones that scored well. We just wanted to have fun. What did we know about lesson plans, standardized tests, classroom management, IEPs, 504s, SGOs, faculty meetings, and department articulations? In the 16 years I've been teaching, 14 of them here in Berkeley Heights, I've learned that teaching is much more than that. But I've managed to hold on to some aspects of that childhood game of school. Fun. I try to incorporate fun activities into my lessons, whether it is an online vocabulary game to get my students to learn the words and how to use them, or playing a game of yearbook bingo after we submit the final pages of the book. Finally, I enjoy the creative lessons that make learning engaging. Relevance. I bring in resources from outside the class that the students can connect with because they are stories and examples we can relate to. We have all had moments when we've had to make sacrifices like Sidney Carton did in A Tale of Two Cities, experience rivalries like the one between Bianca and Catherine in The Taming of the Shrew, and struggled with being accepted like Boo Radley in To Kill a Mockingbird. Interest. I take a sincere interest in what my students are involved in. As a yearbook advisor, I attend a lot of school events, which gives me an opportunity to see the students as athletes, performers, artists, and leaders, not just as the student sitting in the third seat in the second row. Sometimes I even find that we watch the same shows or root for or against the same teams. And stickers. Even high school kids like to get stickers on their papers. Berkeley Heights and GL have a lot to offer our students and teachers. I've been here to experience and be part of many great things. Fundraisers that have topped the charts, pep rallies, Super Saturdays, a trip to Giant Stadium as a cheer coach, senior proms, and junior semiformals, and musicals that have had me singing for days. Still can't get Joseph out of my head. But I've also been here to see times that have tested but have not broken the GL community. The illness of a friend's son, the loss of students and a valued coworker and friend. Not in one of those instances, I promised Rob I wouldn't cry. Not in one of those instances, good or bad, did I feel like we weren't all there to support one another. In those moments, I've come to appreciate the people here and the place where I spend a lot of time, especially during yearbook season. If you haven't guessed, yearbook is a large part of my life. I've taught many different courses in the English department: public speaking, creative writing, film studies, yearbook journalism, and 9th through 12th grade English. I've advised clubs, coached cheerleading, and I've been on numerous committees. All that has taught me that there are great opportunities here in a supportive workplace. Before I thank various people and the music rushes me off the stage, I'd like to congratulate all the other recipients of Educator of the Year. I'd like to thank my administrators, Mr. Rob Nixon, Ms. Tara Oliveira, Mr. Larry Side, and Ms. Lori Scott for giving me the freedom to be the teacher and advisor I am. Thank you to Mrs. Ratner, Mr. McKinney, the Board of Ed, PTO, and the BHEF for assisting us in our endeavors as educators. To the students and parents who nominated me, I'm humbled by your words of kindness and the faith you have in me. Of course, thank you to my friends and family who always understand when I say, no, I can't do this or that because I have to grade papers, do lesson plans, or other teacher things. I'd also like to say thank you to all of my students, past and present, because they and their peers are the reason we do this. A special thanks to my yearbook students, I believe they're all up there, who sprung into action to capture on film the moment Mrs. Ratner surprised me with this announcement, which you can see on the screen. And lastly, I'd like to say thank you to my coworkers, especially my Project Connect teammates, who come to work every day and live the words, to teach is to inspire.
And now Ms. Geraldine Lollevy, the PTO president of Governor Livingston High School.
Hi. This year I was lucky enough to be one of the readers of the letters that were submitted for Educator of the Year, and I really enjoyed that process. It's so nice to read all the things that the students and faculty share about the teachers. And all the details and stories. You feel like you get to know the teachers, and it's a really wonderful thing. So even though my children did not have Mr. Porrick, I know firsthand from reading all of those letters what an impact she has on her students and how well regarded she is by her peers. So I want to say on behalf of the PTO, thank you so much for making GL a better place, and congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Great job.
Thank you all so much. I do have to share just a few tiny stories. One of the things that we always kind of take bets on is who's going to cry. You know, and are there some people who, when we're walking to the room, they're going to say, "What are you doing here?" Even though I'm carrying balloons and flowers, Mrs. Brewster. She's like, "What are you doing here?" "Oh, I always come to visit you with balloons and flowers." We were teasing Mr. Clayton because we said, "Well, we picked you to cry," and he said, "No, no, no. You don't understand. I didn't cry when my child was born. My children were born. If I were to cry now, my wife would never let me live it down." So he didn't shed a tear. So it was fine. And then Kate, you know, I'm so sorry. I would have brought balloons for Kira's birthday today, not knowing that we had the same day. But when you do Walking with Balloons, many of the students want to think that you're coming to celebrate their birthdays, not, you know, that we're there to celebrate teachers. So as I indicated, this is just such a wonderful opportunity for us to really celebrate all of the educators throughout the Berkeley Heights Public Schools. These are just some of the finest examples that we have. So we thank you all for joining us this evening and for celebrating them. But before we wrap up, I want to just turn the microphone over to Mr. Reinstein so he can share some final congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll just make 3 comments. I guess there are themes that I heard throughout the night. We are very fortunate for all the educators that we have. And the first one I'll say is partnership. I've spoken on that topic many times before, but as I listen to the different educators talk about the partnerships with the Ed Foundation or the PTO, I realize how many organizations pull together to make this school district what it is. And second, I would say as community, I realize that some of the people had to leave, but when I see students as young as 3rd grade here to support their teachers and students in the high school who are here, and I see parents, and I see the number of teachers who are here to support their other teachers, and I see administrators here, I think of the community that we have in Berkeley Heights and how it values education and it comes out on nights like this. And so the third theme that I pick is contribution. As I listen to Mrs. Ratner read, you know, the accomplishments of each person, it always starts out with, you know, an accomplishment of how long they've been teaching here. I think it was somewhere between 2 and 40 years or so. And there's always a contribution that starts out in the classroom, but then there's always so much more. It's not just what the educator has done in the classroom. It's they were working on this committee, or they were working with students as an advisor on this group, or they participated on this district level committee. And there's, you know, somewhere between a couple and a half a dozen other contributions that they're doing. So we are extremely fortunate with the educators that we have. So I'll wrap this up with the board's, you know, congratulations to our 6 educators of the year, and to really the whole community that supports education and our teachers. We are very fortunate. So thanks very much. We're going to take a short break to honor our educators of the year before we continue the rest of the board meeting. Thanks.